Hi, good morning. I am talking really quietly right now because my roommate is sleeping right behind that wall, but I wanted to do something new, kind of fun today, which is take you through my day vlog style like I've done before, but then also do kind of like a sit down portion and talk about how I'm studying for the NPTE because I have a little routine going. It's going pretty well. So in case you are starting to study for that exam, I can tell you what's been working for me. So if that is what you're here for, skip ahead to whatever time. I'll put it down in the description what time to skip to for NPTE stuff. But if you're here to just hang out with me and come on my day, then keep watching. Okay. It's time to leave the house. Ooh, let's stay where the light is prettier. Today, first thing is coffee at 6 a.m. with one of our professors who did a lot of travel therapy earlier in her career, so we're just gonna get coffee and talk about it. I even brought my little notebook to like take notes. So look how fancy. I look so fancy. I'm even wearing pants. Wow. We've been trying to do this coffee meetup for like months now, and we finally found a time that works, which is after her Orange Theory class. Ends at 5:45, so I'm gonna get myself moving down there, but it should be really fun. Maybe she'll even let me film and she can say hi to the camera too. This is the travel pro, the Orange Theory master. Cheryl, say hi without the mask. That was a lovely coffee date. She was like, I feel like you have things mostly figured out, but she gave me some really good advice about accountant stuff. So that's my next order of business, is figuring out how to do all the accounting of taxes and whatnot. We sat outside because there's no indoor seating, so my fingers are freezing and my coffee is no longer warm enough to like keep them warm. So I'm hurrying home. I'm gonna warm up and then I'm going somewhere very exciting. I'm not gonna say what it is until I get there because it'll be more fun that way. I wanted to say something else. Hi! I was like, let me hide from the people. And then I saw my friend. Well, that was fun. Hello.
Put the oil in, you have to like let it heat up, and so I like step away and I'm like, okay, like 10 seconds, I'll put the hash browns in, and then like 4 TikTok videos later, you're like hearing the fire alarms go off because the oil's too hot. Yeah.
What am I telling the world?
I don't know, what does the YouTube world not know?
Oh, the YouTube world knows limited information that I was living here, and then I went home, and now I'm just back here visiting. It's only been 2 videos since I was here, so like they don't really care. It doesn't really register that I was like, I've been back home and I haven't been here in a month and I was like living here. So
yeah,
it's nice to be back in my kitchen where I was like prepping all the food, and Lindsay's had to like do all the cooking now. How's it been going without me?
Cameron likes my cooking, so it works.
She doesn't care. Why I'm here is that we're doing a video essay for a class.
Yeah, I don't know what a video essay is. That's what we're trying to figure out.
We're interpreting it as a presentation, correct?
Yeah, video presentation.
We're gonna talk it over because we realize we're really not ready to film it, so wish us luck. But then the other reason I'm here is I'm picking up, she's lending, ooh, look at that blue light. She's lending me her letterboard for a photo session I have tomorrow, which that is a real secret. Coming to Lindsay's house, I made it a secret that I was coming here. I was like, I'm going somewhere exciting and I can't say where it is. And then now I'm here. But the letterboard I really can't say because it's not my secret to tell. But the world will know soon, so it's not a big deal. Okay, before I say anything, I'm back home from Lindsay's house, and on my way home, I stopped and I picked up this box for my roommate because she's moving out, so she needs to put some stuff in here, but I felt so bad when I picked it up at the Target. You know, the area where you walk in the store, there's all the like $2, $3 items. I picked up a little planter for a plant, and I didn't realize the package was open on one side, so I picked it up and it dropped to the floor and shattered. And she's like, don't worry about it, just go. But I felt really bad. Anyway, but picked up the box. back. It's a couple days later and I'm filming this again because I was watching back the footage and editing and realized I was not making any sense. Oh my God, why is that so awkward? Let me start this over. So I'm gonna take a deep breath, gather my thoughts, and try this again. So I'm gonna talk about my 4 biggest recommendations for studying for the NPTE. First recommendation is my first one because it's the most important. It's also the first thing I did, but it's to read the first couple pages of the book. This probably took me 20 minutes. It got me in a much better mindset, it got me really confident about this exam, and it gave me a place to start. I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it says, if you are a fluent or native English speaker, you've made it through all your coursework, and you study well for the NPTE, you should pass on your first try. If you're anything like me, you are nervous about the NPTE, but then you'll read those pages and be like, oh, I speak English, I passed my coursework, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna be fine. My second recommendation is to take a practice test. So I used to tutor for the SAT and ACT. Those exams, you can find dozens and dozens of practice tests online for free really easily. That's how I studied for the SAT, and that's how I studied for the GRE, was by doing a lot of practice questions. With the NPTE, you don't really have that flexibility. There's not as many exams, and of course, you have to pay for them. You can't find them easily online for free. So for me, taking a practice test was the real first hurdle because I didn't want to feel like I was wasting an exam. You might feel the same way, but just remind yourself, nothing is wasted. You're gonna go over the test. You're gonna review all the questions you missed. And you'll find that certain topics seem to come up again and again. So you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to review all the super obscure little details of all the really narrowly focused topics. Things that came up over and over again: stroke, ACL, diabetes, things that you're gonna have covered a lot in your coursework and probably seen a lot of on clinical. That's what's gonna show up on the exam. Next recommendation is to take a course. So my classmates and I took this therapy ed course. It was a weekend, 2-day overview of the exam. We did a bunch of practice questions. She talked about test taking strategies, what the day of the exam is going to look like. It was a really good review of multiple choice test taking strategies for me. And it actually got me really excited to start studying. She had really good energy. She was very encouraging. And I was like, yeah, we got this. Okay, so you've read the pages, you've taken a practice test, you've taken a course, and now it's actually time to study. So what I would recommend doing here is to get into a routine. I'll say what my routine is, just so you have an example, but for reference, it doesn't really matter what your routine is as long as you give yourself the same cues every time that say, it's time to start studying. So same time every day, same place, drinking the same drink, hearing the same sounds, all of those kind of signal to me it's NPTE study time. I get myself up at the same time every day with the promise of coffee and getting to read something that's just for fun, because I know that if I woke up and immediately was like, I have to study for the NPTE, I would never get out of bed. It would be infinitely harder. So what I do, I get up, I make my coffee, I sit at my desk, I give myself 30 minutes to read and relax, and then it's time to study. I put on the same YouTube video every time. It's rainstorm sounds and coffee shop jazz background noise, and it's been working really well for me. So that is sort of what I've been doing and a little bit of the how I've been studying. Now I'm going to talk about materials, and I'm going to tell it in terms of SAT analogies because this would have made so much more sense to me. So if you did a lot of SAT studying, I hope this makes sense to you. So each of the books is basically like a textbook. It's just, you just read it. There's not a ton of practice questions. Each of the books comes with 3 online practice exams. So the exams from the Score Builders book, I would compare to Kaplan. Not a lot of critical thinking required, not very tricky. The therapy ed tests, I would compare to Barron's exams. If you ever took Barron's tests, you were like, what in the heck are they trying to ask me? So this one is really good for getting you to practice your critical thinking and really put it into a clinical setting. I've done 1 of each of these exams so far. I also have 2 of the PEAT exams. So these are written by the FSBPT, the people who write the actual NPTE. So the PETE exams are most similar to what you're actually going to be taking on the day of. So going off our SAT analogy, the PETE exams are kind of like the College Board equivalent, like the ones written by the actual writers of the test. I'm also doing Score Builders Base Camp. It goes with the Score Builders book, and it tells you what pages to read, and then it gives you an interactive video with like review questions, and then it gives you a short quiz on the pages that you just read. So I really like it because it tells me what to do, and then it asks me questions about it. It's exactly what I needed to like get going and get started, because if someone just said, read this book, look how much stuff there is in here. Like, where would you even start? So I really like Basecamp for that reason. All right, enough of the paid stuff, because I know we're students. We need some free materials. I'm using the PT 365 app, which is a question of the day app. It's totally free and it's not time limited. So you could even download it like your first or second year of PT school and start reviewing those questions. So I did that with friends. We would like sit down and review a couple questions together, and it was really fun to go over and be like, we don't know any of that, or to say, oh my gosh, we just learned about that in school. You can kind of talk it over and think through the reasoning together. So highly recommend that app. There's also a ton of PT podcasts out there. I have been listening to the NPTE Clinical Files podcast. It's done by this guy named Kyle Rice, and his voice plays in my head sometimes when I'm reviewing a question, and I try to think like, what would Kyle be saying is important? All right, guys, we got Joni. She's an 18-year-old soccer player. Here, 3 days status post ACL reconstruction. Maybe I have more of an active imagination, but I've found that pretty helpful. So those are all my recommendations. Just to sum it up, first, read the first couple pages of the book, take a practice test, take a course, and then get into a study routine. Okay, back to the video now. Been studying most of the afternoon, and then I made that viral TikTok pasta situation, except I used rice, but regardless, it was really, really delicious. And now I'm headed out to go ice skating. There's not a ton of people, like it's fairly empty, but the ones who are here are like that, like kids falling over, but it's still fun. I'm gonna keep skating. All right, I'm back in the car. I just finished ice skating. My feet hurt so bad. I'm not a great skater. I started learning like 3 years ago, kind of on and off. So I'm not doing anything fancy, but I am having fun on the ice now. That actually makes me think I should do a video talking about like what to know for your first time ice skating, because I know for me, I was scared on the ice. I still kind of am. Like, I was scared for the longest time, and I was always clinging to the wall, and it was just such a like unsatisfying experience because I wanted to do it and I wanted it to be fun, and I just kept falling over and I was terrified. So I have some pointers, and yeah, that's all. I'm gonna go home and go to bed because it is 9. It is my bedtime, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!